Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am thrilled to have you join me on this transformative journey. You see, every day we dive into a powerful conversation about self-discovery, healing, and empowerment. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, where we believe that loving yourself is the first step to living a fulfilling life. You can expect insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories. Plus, we'll occasionally welcome special guests who will share their unique perspectives on self-love and personal growth. So get comfy, grab your favorite beverage, and let's embark on this journey together. Because it's time to embrace the beautiful person that you are. So let's elevate our lives one episode at a time. Now let's get started. All right, my beautiful people, well, welcome back to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I'm your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am so excited to have you here with us today. We continue our journey in this series, Living Life Abundantly. And today we are diving into the topic of creating abundance in our relationship by building connections that truly nourish us. But let's take a quick break, and then when we return, we will get deeper into this topic. It's definitely one that you don't want to miss, all right? It's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks here on the Season of Self-Love podcast, and we'll be right back. Hey, it's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks, and make sure you tune in every Thursday night to Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast, where we talk about everything from love, sex, relationship, cultural differences, and so much more. We're bridging the gap between them all, and we even talk about spiritual uplifting. You need to stop by me.com, Mike, as well as the BTG crew. We have some amazing guests that come through. You never know. Just make sure you tune in Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go to xnyomi.com and tell them Nyomi sent you.
Washington Wellness Institute focuses on healing always. For me, if I look good, then I feel good. If I feel good, then I share the good. If I share the good, then I celebrate the good. If I celebrate the good, then I live the good. So I can be paid to be my greatest. But I have to learn the good to be the good.
So, what does it take to be the greatest? It's as simple as a free 15-minute consultation. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
All right, well, welcome back to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks. And today we're talking about abundance in relationship by cultivating meaningful connection. And today, to help us to explore this topic, I'm thrilled to welcome our guest, that's Katharine Giovanni. She is a 3-time award-winning best-selling author, as well as a transformational speaker whose work in forgiveness and personal empowerment and has changed countless lives. And she is here to share her insights on how we can create space for abundance in our relationship through forgiveness and resilience and meaningful connection. Welcome, Katharine. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, before we get into our topic, what we do every day is that we do a nice little guided meditation before we get the topic started, all right? So let's begin with a short grounded meditation, all right, my listeners, just to set the intentions for today. So if you guys can kindly get comfortable, close your eyes and take a deep breath. Now in your comfortable position and close your eyes, I want you to take a deep breath in. Hold for a moment. Now slowly exhale. Now again, breathe in through your nose. Hold. Again, slowly exhale through your mouth. Now as you continue breathing, allow yourself to visualize yourself in these relationships flourishing. See them as a source of support, love, and abundance in your life. With each breath, let go of any tension and embrace the intention of nurturing these connections. take one more deep breath in. Hold for a moment. Now release. And when you are ready, open your eyes and gently bring your presence back to this moment. All right, thank you for sharing that moment with me. If you are new here to the Season of Self-Love podcast, it's something that we do every day, Monday through Friday, just to help ground us before we get into the topic at hand. Well, today's episode is called Abundance in Relationship, Cultivating Meaningful Connections with Relationships. Because they are such an essential part of living and fulfilling our lives, right? And so when we cultivate them with intention, they become an abundance of source and joy of support. Katharine, welcome you here, and we are so honored to have you with us today. Can you start by sharing a little bit about yourself and what led you to focus on forgiveness and personal empowerment?
When I was a kid in never mind what year it was, we won't go there. I was in the 8th grade, and my parents were very pickled, which means they were alcoholics, and it was a dysfunctional family. You could connect the dots. And I was getting horribly bullied in school because I was different. So I tried to commit suicide. And I spent the next 15 years as one of those teenagers. You know who I'm talking about. I was one of those teenagers until my mother died, and she fell down a flight of stairs, broke her hip, and ended up in the hospital. And even my mother couldn't get a gin and tonic in the hospital. So she dried out. And I had 3 gorgeous years with her. And then she died of breast cancer. And I realized very quickly that if I didn't change my life, I was going to die too. So I quit drinking. I've been sober 34 years. And I got my life together, and I moved into the concierge industry. I'm one of the original founders of the independent concierge industry. So I taught concierge for 25 years. But I can teach you the most beautiful words in this to say. I can teach you how to dress, how to act, how to walk, how to act like 5-star service. But if you're angry inside, your anger is going to bleed through your body language, whether you want it to or not. Yes. So back in the early 2000s, I had to come up with a method to get people to learn how to mitigate their anger. And that's when I started my journey to forgiveness. And it wasn't until a couple years ago when I figured out how to forgive. Because everybody says you have to forgive. Nobody teaches you how. And until you move some of your anger, how can you have a positive relationship? Where is the money streams coming from? Because you're so focused on the anger, it's very hard to focus on anything else.
Yeah. It's like you wear it on you like a armor. You
It's
can
like a
tell when
Superman.
people, when they just like, it's like a ick.
Well, it kind of is. I mean, I was my story for many years. I'm a survivor of alcoholic background. I survived suicide. Here I am. I'm sober, all these things. And I wrote about it. I've written 12 books because I'm crazy. I go through it. I write about it. It's one of those things. But losing my story is very scary, because if I lost the story, who am I? It's very scary. Who am I? So that's what forgiveness is going to do. A few PSAs to forgiveness, because I know what everybody's thinking. Everybody watching this episode, the minute they heard the word forgiveness come out of my mouth, on a 10 scale, with 10 being unforgivable garbage truck and 1 being the easiest person in the world to forgive, y'all are thinking of your number 10s. You're thinking of that unforgivable person that hurt you the most. And that's completely fair. Not everybody is forgivable. Some things are unforgivable, but the system I've created is going to start you off with the other end. You're going to start off with the easy ones, and you're going to work your way up through everything. Because once you forgive, then you can concentrate on the life that you were always meant to lead. Let me give you a real quick demonstration. If you're listening to this, I'm about to hold a purple coffee cup right in front of my face. When I first get angry, look, I can manage my anger. The cup represents anger and bitterness and regret and all these horrible emotions. But look at my body language. I can manage my anger. I got this. This is easy. I'm not angry. I can manage this. But the longer I hold on to this, the more it's going to hurt. So now I have to use two hands to hold up the cup. So now it's starting to come into my conversations. I can still manage my anger, but it's starting to affect me. The longer I hold on to it, well, now look at my body language. I can't see you at all. A money-making opportunity might have just walked in the door. I didn't see it. I'm not paying attention. My dream relationship, the perfect spouse, just walked in. I didn't see it because I'm too focused on my anger. System is designed to allow you to put your anger down so you can start paying attention to the great things that are happening around you.
So can you walk us through? Can you walk us through a couple of steps on how we can remove that? How can we remove the anger so we can get past the forgiveness or get through the forgiveness?
I got you. First of all, just because I forgive you doesn't mean I want a relationship with you. I probably don't.
To say, okay.
Just because I forgive you doesn't mean I'm giving you a pass. It does not mean you were correct. I'm not giving in. Let me say it again. I'm not giving in. You're still unforgivable. You're still a dumpster fire. You're still wrong. Forgiveness for me means I want you out of my head. That's it. I want to stop thinking about you. I want to stop dreaming about you. I want the memories to stop. I want you out of my head. That's what it means. And there's no forgiving and forgetting. I don't know who came up with that phrase, but it's just so wrong. Nobody's going to forget.
No.
It's like the phrase killing two birds with one stone. Why are we throwing stones at birds? They didn't do anything to you. What's up with that? So forgive and forget is the same thing. We're not going to forget. But what I can promise you is my system will remove the emotional charge. So you won't care. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for neutrality. When you look at that person's name on Facebook or wherever you are, you're not going to care. It's not going to zing your brain anymore. So I want everybody to sit down with a pad of paper and a pen, or you can use your cell phone if that's fine. All roads lead to Rome. Don't care. And I want you to write down all the people you think you need to forgive. All of them on a piece of paper. And then I want you to rank them from 1 to 10. 10 being unforgivable, really hard, and 1 being the easiest person in the world. The person who stole your parking space at the grocery store yesterday. You can forgive that person. The person who cut you off in the fast lane on I-95 South. You can forgive that person too. The person who stole your lunch the other day at the office. Okay, we hope you can forgive that person. They were hungry. Forgive that person. You can get another sandwich. Easy people. The person who cut you off on aisle 5 of the grocery store with their grocery cart. You can forgive these people, right? Maybe somebody in grammar school who cheated off your paper or stained your sweater. Start with the easy ones. And I want you to write down people from the time you were in the sandbox all the way to present day. And then you forgive them one by one using my mantra. I'm a very simple soul. And you don't have to carry crystals with you unless you want to. You don't have to dance or sing unless you like to dance and sing. Knock yourself out. It's a very simple mantra. And the whole special sauce behind the whole thing is what a lot of people will look at me and say, I did forgive. Yeah, you did. You did the work, but you didn't forgive the energy. Einstein correctly proved that there is energy around us and everything, including this little snowball microphone. There's energy around everything. And our energy is connected to it. So when I forgive somebody, I actually say, I completely forgive Martha. I forgive the energy around Martha. I completely forgive myself for anything I may or may not have done. I completely forgive the energy around myself. I completely forgive the energy around the entire thing. And that's it. The energy is what's going to seal the deal. Now, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And forgiveness is like an onion. And I get a lot of people who make one pass like it didn't work. Yeah, it did. You just forgave that first layer. And the brain is such an amazing tool and it protects you.
Yes.
So you forgive that first layer and it's like, wow, great. She's ready. I'm going to open up this back closet that's like a movie playing in your head. And it's been there the whole time, except it's behind a closet. And as soon as you forgive that first layer, your brain's going to say, great. And it's going to open up the closet. You're going to be flooded with memories and you're going to have to do it again.
Yeah.
but try and do it before you go to bed. Try and do only like 5 at a time, because this is powerful energy. I'm not kidding. When I first came up with this method, I must have put 50 people down on the list. And I forgave everybody. And I thought, this is going to be great. This is going to be wonderful. I'm going to be like a phoenix rising from the ashes. I'm going to forgive all these people. I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning. I'm going to be a new person. Didn't really work that way, because I spent the next 3 days in bed with what everybody thought was the stomach flu. It was not the stomach flu. It was just my body trying to toss all of the anger that I've been storing in my body for so many decades.
Yeah.
So, some people get really, really tired. Some people think their shoulders have felt lighter, but it's a process. A lot of people call this shadow work, because you're working with stuff in your past. You're working with the shadows, and the number 10s, they're a bear. Save them for last. They are 100% a bear, especially if you are your own number 10. Forgiving yourself is usually the hardest person.
Yeah. Yeah. That is truly powerful. So let's do this. Let's move from forgiveness to cultivating meaningful connections. What are some practical ways that we can deepen our relationships? So after the forgiveness is gone, and I heard you say about forgetting, that whole saying for that. And why I say that is because I remember going through my spiritual awakening, my spiritual journey. And I remember sitting in my closet. My prayer closet is what I called it. And I sit in my prayer closet, and I remember writing down my list of people who I wanted to, list of people that I need to forgive, and a list of people that I'm looking for forgiveness from. I remember that. And I remember writing on what I need to forgive those people for, and what I felt that maybe I possibly did to the people who I was looking for forgiveness from. And that's why I like that your mantra that you just spoke and you said. And that makes so much sense, because even though, I wrote those people names on there, and I even contacted them all and wrote letters to them as well, speaking on our connection with that. But I still held on with some of them. I still held on to that energy of that anger or that hurt.
Everybody does.
That I didn't release from there. Just not too long ago, just the very same thing. I remember listening to Untethered Soul. Came on. I was listening to it on the Audible right before I was getting ready to go home and visit family. And a family member that I had kind of disconnected myself from a few years ago reached out to me and said, can we speak? I just blocked. That was it. It was like no conversation at all. But as I was listening to Onto the Soul, it was like, when you do that, you're blocking yourself. You're not just blocking that person, but you're blocking yourself, because that's energy, or that's things that you have not resolved. When you think like you're blocking those people away and removing them out, you still storing and holding on to that.
Still angry.
Yeah.
If you weren't still angry, you wouldn't have blocked them.
Exactly.
You're still, to be honest and perfectly blunt, I am from New York City after all. You were still pissed.
Yes.
You were.
Yes.
And
yes.
that's fair. That's fair. You have every right to be pissed because they hurt you. That's absolutely fair.
Yes.
But
so
you can remove that.
Right. So as you were saying that, I was sitting here with her name on the paper, right?
Yeah.
And I wrote down and I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this for a good month. I am. By the end of this year, I'm going to be good with everyone. Meaning that I'm going to release this toxic energy that I have with those individuals. It's only a few of them. It's not that many of them. It's only a few of them. And remove that from them. It's the last of it.
The higher number of people who you're mad at may not be a 10, but you get to 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, they'll trip you up.
Yeah.
They will trip you up.
And I think I'm probably the highest one out of them all. You said it. I think I'm the highest one out of them all, because I think I've already been through it. I've already had those conversations. And it doesn't hold weight I just think with a few other individuals, I think because how close that we were and how it's like, and I'm taking steps. You know that onion? That
Yep.
onion, so different layers. So
Damn
I
onion.
believe,
I've been fighting that onion for almost 30 years. And whenever you think you finish the onion, irritatingly another onion appears because you're never done with this stuff because humans irritate other humans and another onion appears. So it's
yeah,
more than a little irritating.
yeah. I think that this, I not I think I know this right here is the last of the pilling for me.
Right.
For me, it is for me. That, and I thank you for that. I thank you for that because it is. And I feel it. Like you see the smile on my face, like I feel it. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is what this is it.
Well, this is what about relationships when it comes to what we're talking about. First of all, you don't have to reach out and contact these people if you don't want to. Forgiveness is selfish. It's the ultimate selfish. The person you're mad at may or may not even know you're mad at them, and they're off. And women, we get so angry about this, especially if it's an ex. They're out having fun, they're going to movies and doing all these great things, and we're sitting here miserable. We want them to be as miserable as we are. We do. We see that they broke their leg on Facebook and we're like, karma, they probably deserved it. Not exactly a Christian thought, is it? But we all do it. So when you forgive, what is this going to do for your relationships? Well, first of all, you don't have to contact them unless you want to.
Right.
So you're going to spend a lot of time removing the anger from you.
Yeah.
So let's use an example. Let's talk about Aunt Martha. I do not have an Aunt Martha, which is why I use the name as an example because it's safe. Let's say you're going to your family Thanksgiving, and Aunt Martha is there, and she drinks. She doesn't bathe on a regular basis. I mean, she's just a mess, man. And she loves to push people's buttons. She loves to watch people scream and shout. She lives in this kind of hate-filled negativity. And she pushes people's buttons. She just loves it. And for some reason, your parents always sit you next to the darn woman. And you've begged them not to, but every year you're next to this darn person. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to forgive Aunt Martha a couple weeks before you go to your family's house. And I want you to forgive the energy around Aunt Martha. And then I'm going to have you do something very strange. Stay with me. Everything on our planet has energy. So if you can't forgive Aunt Martha or you can't forgive your number 10, pull out other things within the memory. Forgive the chair you're sitting in. Forgive the table you're sitting at. Forgive the people that are sitting around you. Forgive the building. Forgive your childhood home. Forgive the desk, the table, the chair, and the energy around all these things. And then in 24 hours, do it again. And maybe pick out another Thanksgiving and do it again. And then forgive yourself. So by the time you get to Thanksgiving, what's that going to do for Aunt Martha? Not a darn thing. But it's going to shortchange you because she won't be able to push your buttons anymore. You're not going to care.
So you creating that forgiveness is kind of like
right.
a energy force around you. You're cultivating it within
That's
yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
And as you forgive people, 3 things are going to happen, or one of 3 things will happen. You're going to start to change, and people are going to come up to you and say, did you get a new hair? You look so different. They're going to feel the new energy on you. So you're going to attract like energy attracts like energy. So you might attract like-minded people into your circle. Conversely, you might get some jackrabbits who are going to leave and never come back because your energy, it's like oil and water. You used to match, but now you don't, and they're just going to disappear. Yeah. Maya Angelou said, when people show you who they truly are, believe them the first time. She was right. There's also some people, you probably live with these people, maybe they're your friends, your coworkers. They liked the old you very much. Yes. They liked the fact that you were miserable and you didn't have a lot of money and you had more time than money. They loved that person. They don't like the new you. So they're going to sabotage it.
Yeah.
And if you're living with one of those sabotaging kind of people, may I tell you from the bottom of my heart, please move. Get yourself out of there. you are worthy to live a life of joy. You are
Mm.
worthy to have a relationship with somebody who really cares for you. It's your birthright. You're not meant to live in a refrigerator box on the street. You're meant to have this joy, happiness, and prosperity. And forgiveness is going to give you that. Now, are you just going to get a chunk of money after you forgive all these people? I have seen stranger things happen, to be honest. But what's probably going to happen is you're going to start to pay attention, and you're going to see opportunities. You're going to see the world around you, and your life is going to change. Everybody's does once they do this.
Yeah.
There was a very famous quote. His name is, I can't remember his name. His last name is Rome, but he says, Jim Rome, that's who it is. You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Who are you spending time with?
Mm.
Do you like them? Or do you not like them? That quote changed my life. And I realized the relationships I had at the time were these energy sucking vampires. And when I was around them, you could almost hear that sucking sound, draining. And every time I was around them, I was exhausted. I wasn't energized. I didn't feel good. I was exhausted because I'm very sensitive to energy. So if that's kind of how you're living right now and you've run into a wall, give forgiveness a shot and forget the number 10. Start with the easy ones. And there's worksheets and stuff in the book and all that kind of stuff. But start with the easy ones and work your way up to the hard ones. You're going to be glad you did. And the relationships you're going to generate are not going to be these temporary relationships. You're going to create some new relationships that are lasting. And these are warm, friendly, and approachable people. You're going to run into people who are good for you, as opposed to the other kind.
I like that. You know what I like too, and I like that you said that, it's because a lot of times we think that we are obligated to be in these relationships with people, whether they're family members, friends, or whatever, and that we have to stay committed to that toxic.
My family is who I choose it to be. Blood doesn't, I mean, yes, I have blood. I have a few, my family's mostly passed away, but my blood family, they're okay. But my family is who I choose to be. Now, just a little PSA, you can forgive dead people because where they are or are not doesn't matter a lick. They're alive and well in your head, and you need to let it go. Yeah. So if the person you are mad at or you need to forgive has already passed away, you haven't missed the boat. They're still alive in your head. And that's the most important part of it. So you can forgive people who have passed on.
All right, so I want to do a quick exercise if you don't mind, and maybe you can join in. So I want to take a moment with a quick exercise. I love for all of my listeners right now to think of 3 relationships that you like to deepen. 3 relationships that you like to deepen. Now, I want you to take a moment to write down one action that you can take this week to cultivate abundance in each one of those connections. Now, it can be as simple as calling a friend if you haven't spoken to it in a while, or expressing gratitude to your partner, or listening more actively in a conversation. Now, if you're open to it, you can share it in our action or our community group and take accountability. For us, all of us can take accountability because it's very powerful for us to support each other on this journey. And why I want to do that is to make sure that we stay, that even though we're talking about this, understand that you still have those that you still need to push forward and push through. Yeah.
Action steps.
Yeah.
It's like the old adage, if you want a new relationship and you want a new guy or something, unless you want to marry the pizza delivery guy, you're going to have to get up out of your bed and do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. We actually just finished doing a book challenge. Actually, today is the last day. We just finished doing a book challenge, and we read the book, Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life by Bob Proctor. And it's an amazing book. And
yes,
he says right there is, once you make that choice, you have to want to make that choice to change those habits, to change your, and this fits right in. Just what the statement that you made about, if you're living in a home where they only can see the old you and love the old you and is not embracing that new you, then you need to move. And that's
Absolutely.
true.
Yeah.
That is so true. as we continue to grow, especially listening to here at the Season of Stuff Love podcast, because that's all we talk about. It's about growing. It's about learning who we are outside of whoever we were taught from, whoever taught us our initial paradigm. Now we're learning on who we are in our new paradigm or who we are. And as you continue to learn who you are, those people that don't know and love you for who you are back then, they're not going to like that. So this is where
No,
you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Does that make sense?
it does. Why do you feel obligated to live in fear?
They were taught that.
And because they're blood family and blood is thicker than water? Okay, that's pretty 1950s way of looking at life, but okay. You know, family is who I choose to call family. That's how I feel. And I've felt that way for most of my life. And so if you need to go to Thanksgiving and Christmas and still reach out to these people, great. But if it feels like you're selling your soul, you might want to move on.
Yeah.
And divorce your family. It's a horrible word, divorce, but you can divorce your family. I had to divorce my parents for a very long time until I finally forgave them. And I didn't forgive them until they were been dead for 20 years. I finally forgave them.
So how did that look for you? How did that forgiveness look for you? Like when you were, how did it look for you?
There's a passage in the Bible. I'm not very religious, but I did have to memorize Bible verses in school. And when Jesus was nailed up on the cross, he said, "Forgive them, Father, they know not what they do." And what I've always thought he meant by that is if you're in the 5th grade and you don't know trigonometry, I can't get mad at that. And that idea combined with some Simone Biles level mental gymnastics kind of got me to forgiving my parents, because I looked at myself in my teens and I could stumble across this word every time I say it. Compartmentalized. Oh, I got it right that time. I compartmentalized myself. And I looked at teenage Katharine, and she did the best that she could. She had limited tools at her disposal, and her parents did the best that they could. I can forgive that. I can forgive that. And once I started picking out my past and forgiving memories and forgiving the people back there, now to this day, I can look back at my childhood and I could see the pockets of love that were back there.
Yeah.
I could see the adults that were there to help me. I just didn't realize it.
Yeah.
So now when I look back at my past, believe it or not, I don't remember the bad stuff as much anymore. And it's not that I'm getting Alzheimer's. I legit don't remember the bad stuff. I remember the good stuff and the good people, the hugs that I got. I remember that stuff. Now I can regurgitate all the horrible stuff, you know, if you want me to, but I really remember the love. And that's what forgiveness does. You're literally changing your past. You're changing your memories.
Yeah. But you know, that's beautiful. And why I love that is because shows the abundance. Shows the abundance in the relationship that you truly did have with your parents.
It was there all along. I just didn't see it.
Yeah. And that's what forgiveness does.
Now, if you have parents and that there was no love, a lot of people do, or maybe they died when you were a baby, there were other adults in your life. There were friends in your life. There were strangers in your life. There were pockets of love back there. There might have been a teacher, but your brain is powerful. And once you start forgiving your past, you're going to see those pockets of love, whatever they are for you.
That's beautiful. You get ready to put some tears in my eyes over here, lady, because that is so beautiful. And just to break, when I about the energy, like truly, and I'm going to ask you to do this. I want you to repeat the mantra again. If our listeners did not hear it, please repeat that again, because I don't think people truly understand how important energy is. Okay. I don't think how important they don't understand that. So if you can do that, please, for me.
Before I repeat the mantra, let me throw some science at you. People say anger is toxic. Okay, how? 99% of us have no idea how it's toxic because it's energy.
Yeah.
Right? So there was a study done. It's called the Japanese water study. You can Google it. It's right online by a gentleman named Matsumoto something. I can't remember his name exactly. And what he did is he took several containers of water. One container of water, he talked to it. spoke love to it, told it was beautiful, said all these wonderful things. And the other container of water, he spoke hate to it, swore at it, said these ugly, nasty things. He then froze the water and he put it under a microscope. The water that he spoke love to turned into these beautiful, gorgeous crystal formations. And the water he spoke hate to had these malformations. They were black, brown, really sludgy looking things. The pictures are right online. So why am I telling you this? The human body is mostly water. So when your self-talk is nasty, and when you're living in hate and bitterness and holding grudges, what do you think you're doing to the water cells in your body? Forgiveness is, Einstein proved that energy is neither created nor destroyed. You just transform it from one thing to another. And that's what forgiveness is doing. It's transforming the water cells and the energy within your body from a dark, nasty, sick energy to a very light one. And the mantra that I have is it's very simple and it's designed to do just that. So we'll use Aunt Martha as an example because we respect Aunt Martha at the end of the day. I completely forgive Aunt Martha. I forgive the energy around Martha. I completely forgive myself for anything I may or may not have done. I always add that in. It's just a personal thing. I completely forgive the energy around myself. I completely forgive the energy around the entire situation. And so it is. I forgave 1974, the actual year. I said, I completely forgive 1974 and the energy around 1974 because that's the year I committed suicide. So, Katharine, I can't forgive. What Aunt Martha did was unforgivable. I can't even forgive the energy. I've had a couple people tell me that, and that's fair. So just say the following mantra for a week. I completely forgive myself for not being able to forgive and the energy around it. Say that for a week. And I guarantee you, your brain is at some point, it's going to penetrate that back closet of your mind, and the first onion layer is going to pop out. Then I had some men look at me and said, I have nothing to forgive. It's always men. Women, we always have somebody to forgive, our exes and stuff. But it was a gentleman who said this to me. And I said, do you like football? He said, yeah. I said, did your team win last week? He said, no, they lost. I said, did you get mad at them? He said, yeah, I was through something at the TV. I said, there you go. That's somebody to forgive. Forgive the football team. You can forgive politicians, dare I say. You can forgive cities. You can forgive buildings. You can forgive the war in the Middle East. Will it do anything for the war in the Middle East? Not a darn thing. But if it's making you mad and you're sitting there watching CNN, you can forgive it and release yourself from that prison. Yeah. Or just turn the news off. I stopped watching the news a couple of weeks ago. I'm kind of done.
Yeah. Yeah. Now your book. Where can they find your book? Where can they find it?
You can go to my website, and my first name is spelled a little odd, thanks to my mother. Thanks, Mom. And it's KatharIne, KatharineGiovanni.com. You can also go to Amazon, and I do have the audiobook, the paperback, and the ebook available on Amazon.com.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm just going through my notes right now to see if we missed anything. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Are there any last words that you have for my listeners here before we go?
You're worthy enough to do this. You are worthy enough to live this life of love and forgiveness. It is within your grasp. You didn't miss the boat. It can be done. Your situation can change. You can move forward because it's your birthright. You really are worthy enough to live this life.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Miss Katharine. Thank you so much. Thank you, truly.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. And to my listeners, I hope that you just take away so many valuable insights from today's conversation. And also, I want to thank you all who had joined the 10-day book challenge. We had an amazing time there, really. And I'm trying to decide now if we're going to bring it back next month and do it again. Maybe we will even bring your book in and do that. That'll be something nice. I would love to check it out to see what it's all about and see if we can bring that into our book club for that. I think that'll be good. And what's the title of your book?
The Ultimate Path to Forgiveness, Unlocking Your Power.
The Ultimate
The Ultimate Path to Forgiveness, Unlocking Your Power.
Okay, unlocking your path. Okay. See, we didn't even say that. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And it's really short because I understand people have the attention span of a tick because of TikTok. So it's the it's the first book of 3. So this is the first one. The next one's probably going to concentrate on how to forgive unforgivables, how to forgive yourself, and how to forgive money.
Beautiful. Yes. Yes. Yes.
A lot of people have a problem with it.
In that relationship with money. I don't,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes. But again, thank you so much. Truly, this has been, I love this one. This has been eye-opening for me right here. And that mantra, I'm going to do that. I am going to truly do that. As I'm editing it, I'm going to make sure I pull it out. And when
5 at a time right before you go to bed. Don't make yourself sick. Seriously.
No, I won't. I'm very sensitive to energy as well. I'm very sensitive to energy as well. Again, my beautiful people, thank you for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who might benefit. And together we are creating a community of love and support and abundant living. So until next time, remember to nurture your connection and live with an open heart. Have an amazing day. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery and empowerment here at the Season of Self-Love podcast. Remember, embracing self-love is a continuous journey, and we're so glad to have you with us. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. And don't forget to join our community on Facebook at Season of Self-Love. Connect with like-minded individuals who are also on their self-love journey. Now, if you have any questions or topics that you'd like for us to explore, we love to hear from you. Email us at seasonofselflove@gmail.com and let your voice be heard. So until next time, take a moment for yourself today and remember, you are worthy of love, joy, and all the beautiful things that life has to offer.